Some traditions describe a layered way in which reality is experienced, explaining that there are three fundamental states for an individual being: the waking state, the dreaming state, and the deep sleep state. In waking, a person operates with both a physical body and an interior mind, so there are thoughts, memories, emotions, as well as material interactions. In dreaming, physical interactions pause, but an interior process of thoughts and images continues, creating a private mental world. In deep sleep, a person no longer even perceives the mental imagery of dreams. It is as if everything goes into a seed-like form, ready to sprout again when waking or dreaming resumes. According to some teachings, these three dimensions of an individual exist because there is a deeper structure beneath the body and mind, known as the causal dimension, from which everything reemerges upon waking. The resulting picture for a single being is that the physical body, the subtle interior, thoughts and feelings, and a causal root, often noticed only as the blankness of deep sleep, together shape one person's daily existence. Some people say the same principle operates collectively for all beings in the cosmos. So just as each individual is believed to have a causal layer, a subtle mind, and a physical presence, there can be cosmic counterparts to those three layers. The collective causal basis for existence merged with a supreme awareness is called the highest level of the divine, the one that serves as the root of all. When that same supreme awareness also permeates the totality of all minds, rather than just one individual mind, some call it the cosmic mind. And when it permeates all physical forms, some call it the cosmic manifestation. The labels differ. Certain texts speak of the supreme presence when it is associated only with the causal layer as something akin to the universal deity. And when that presence associates further with all subtle minds, it acquires another name. One commonly cited name is the golden embryo, which in an older language is expressed by two words signifying golden and egg, referencing a mythic vision of creation arising from a luminous seed. In some ancient narratives, this golden embryo is also called the cosmic creator, or the one who shapes the structure of all subtle forms. Another commonly used designation refers to the figure recognized as a caretaker of the cosmos from the vantage of total subtle activity. Meanwhile, the supreme presence in its causal sense is often pictured as the final root, the inexhaustible possibility from which all emerges. A story that arises in a Hindu setting portrays this causal aspect as if reclining in perfect potential, while the cosmic mind arises to shape the grand design, like an architect who receives power from the original source and uses it to unfold a vast universe of names and forms. Some teachers explain that the difference between the highest cosmic cause and the cosmic mind is mainly conceptual. The cosmic mind remains the first expression of subtle creation, essentially the total sum of all minds joined together. Without the support of the causal reality, that total subtle creation would not even arise. Hence, the two always function in tandem, the supreme presence as the primary cause, and the cosmic mind as the immediate manifester of the subtle aspects of the universe. In certain iconography, this idea is depicted as one figure resting in serene potential, while another figure, often called the cosmic mind or cosmic womb, emerges to initiate a creative process. Yet the tradition also describes that the ultimate authority remains with the highest presence, which is the underlying cause of all layers. A question arises: who exactly creates the universe? The answer becomes nuanced. On one level, there is the cosmic mind that orchestrates the first stages of subtle creation, like shaping the archetypes for living beings and subtle phenomena. On a deeper level, that cosmic mind itself depends on the higher cause, so some hold that both are correct to varying degrees. The cosmic mind is the active agent of creation, but nothing would happen without the deeper, all-encompassing reality. When looked at from the perspective of daily life, one might compare it to a person who has the idea to build a house and a contractor who executes the plan. Both are necessary, and the plan comes from a higher intention that directs the contractor's skill. Similarly, from the cosmic angle, the highest presence ensures the potential for creation is there, but the cosmic mind conducts the actual subtle arrangement. An intriguing piece of teaching involves happiness. According to an ancient text that calculates different degrees of joy, the cosmic mind is said to experience an extraordinary level of bliss. so high that it can be compared to 10 to the power of 20 times the greatest happiness a single human can imagine. That description is obviously symbolic, intended to convey an almost unimaginable vastness of delight. In normal human life, happiness is often limited by personal desires, anxieties, and uncertainties. The cosmic mind, on the other hand, is described as free from narrow desires and fully aware of its expansive nature. That freedom from craving allows a supreme sense of well-being, undiluted by dissatisfaction. Being a universal mind that seamlessly integrates all subtle streams, it reflects the cosmic scale of bliss, not confined by personal concerns or constraints. As some interpret this, the cosmic mind's happiness is essentially the highest possible experience short of the absolute itself. In that same text, the absolute in its pure causal aspect may not display a dynamic feeling of happiness in the ordinary sense, because no mental processes are active at that causal level. Some comment that it is like a deep sleep state on a grand scale, beyond conceptual joy, whereas the cosmic mind can still taste joy because it remains a mental presence, albeit supremely vast. In the same tradition, the causal presence, sometimes referenced as the unmanifest potential, does not vibrate with emotions in a typical way. There is a calm profundity without fluctuation, which might be identified with infinite serenity rather than an emotional wave. By contrast, the cosmic mind actively engages with the realm of forms, including the forms of delight. Yet it remains so attuned to the absolute presence that its delight is boundless. That is how some people justify the idea that this cosmic mind can experience the maximum possible bliss while still being an aspect of manifested existence, just at the most refined and unified level. An everyday analogy might clarify the roles of these three layers at the individual level. If someone is in a deep, dreamless sleep, that is akin to resting in the causal seed. There is no particular experience, yet the person does not cease to exist. Eventually, the person might begin to dream, which is the mind's activity, albeit without physical interaction. Upon waking, the physical dimension returns and the person interacts with a shared external world. Now, enlarge that idea. Instead of one individual, picture an entire cosmos that emerges from a universal deep sleep. The collective causal condition moves into the realm of pure subtle creation, the universal dreamlike condition, and then expresses into a vast physical manifestation, the universal waking. The cosmic mind is the dreamlike emergence of subtle energies, while the causal presence is the unmanifest seed before anything is shaped. Finally, the physical cosmos is what billions of individuals observe with their senses. The cosmic mind orchestrates the subtle patterns for all beings, while the absolute presence undergirds everything. In certain old texts, the cosmic mind is given honorific titles, including the name associated with the golden womb. Some stories speak poetically about how all that exists once lay dormant in the golden egg until it burst forth, revealing galaxies and realms. Though these accounts sound mythic, some interpret them as metaphors for the invisible mental blueprint that must take shape before any material appearance. The label golden suggests purity, radiance, and preciousness, while egg suggests potential, growth, and unfolding. It is not necessarily about a literal egg drifting in space, but rather a symbolic way of describing how the first cosmic formation occurs. Another layer of nuance arises when some speak of the cosmic mind as the figure who is deeply devoted, free from personal desire, and thus experiencing incredible joy. This teaching indicates that the cosmic mind's function is an act of total service or creation without selfish motive. By crafting subtle matrices for countless living beings, it performs a grand cosmic duty. There is no thought of personal gain in that process, so it remains unburdened by suffering. In this scenario, there is no conflict or tension in the cosmic mind. Instead, there is a fully enlightened stance that perceives its identity not as a separate entity, but as a channel for the deepest presence that sustains everything. That perspective leads to immeasurable happiness, for the sense of personal limitation is absent. Some people then ask about the relationship between the cosmic mind and a more personal notion of the highest. One text might label the Supreme One who creates everything as the highest divine being, but in many teachings, that highest divine being is precisely consciousness associated with the cosmic causal level. The cosmic mind would then be the creative aspect, sometimes portrayed as if sprouting from the deeper cause. Thus, the distinction is conceptual. From one viewpoint, the presence that originates the cosmos is the ultimate. From another viewpoint, the first manifestation in terms of subtle structure is the cosmic mind, also credited with creation. The difference is subtle, but recognized in certain teachings to handle the complexities of how the universe emerges. Some educators mention that from a purely logical standpoint, if the cosmic mind is basically the sum total of all individual minds, it might seem to inherit both joys and sorrows. Why is it then said to be supremely blissful instead of being flooded with the collective anguish of countless beings? The explanation is that the cosmic mind has a vantage free from ordinary ignorance, so it does not identify with limited frustrations. It encompasses them without being bound by them. A crude analogy might be, an ocean contains every wave, including storms, but the ocean itself in its vastness remains tranquil beneath the surface. Similarly, the cosmic mind holds every subtle experience within itself, yet perceives them from a state of enlightenment. In that enlightened state, negative experience does not overshadow the abiding joy. In some references, the cosmic presence that shapes subtle existence is called by the name of the deity known for creation. Meanwhile, the aspect that remains hidden in deep potential is referred to by a different divine name. Finally, when that presence pervades every physical form, yet another divine name is ascribed. This triad of cosmic presence, causal, subtle, and physical, unfolds in the same way an individual experiences deep sleep, dream, and waking. When texts say the creator or mention the golden womb, they may be pinpointing the same entity from slightly different angles, sometimes leading to confusion if one wonders which aspect is the real creator. The simpler resolution is that at different stages or vantage points, different names are used, but it is the same consciousness playing multiple roles. Some teachers also point out that modern science narrates an outside-in approach. First came a physical event like the Big Bang, followed by the formation of stars and planets, and eventually life arose under suitable conditions, leading to minds and consciousness. The older teachings from a Hindu framework often give an inside-out model. From a deep, seed-like presence emerges subtle possibility, then a mental dimension, and finally the concrete physical domain. These two perspectives can be difficult to reconcile if taken literally, but some see them as parallel stories. Science explores external phenomena, while the older teachings center on the subjective experience that transitions from deep sleep to dream to waking. Each perspective serves a different purpose. One addresses measurable events, the other addresses the structure of consciousness as it unfolds into apparent worlds. For those wrestling with the question of who is the real creator, the cosmic, causal presence, or the cosmic mind, it helps to remember that the older traditions often do not fixate on an either-or. Instead, they describe a hierarchy. The causal dimension contains the seed of all creation. The moment that creation begins to manifest in subtle form, the cosmic mind is the active agent orchestrating patterns. Then, as the physical universe unfolds, that same consciousness, now expanded into cosmic physical presence, appears in the myriad forms we see around us. Each role belongs to the same ultimate reality, simply viewed at different stages of expansion or contraction. Sometimes the name used for the creative role is that of the cosmic mind, yet it depends on the underlying causal support. When some ancient text calculates the degrees of happiness culminating in what the golden womb experiences, it is partly a teaching tool to illustrate the limitless possibility of joy when one rises beyond individual anxieties. The scale of 10 to the power of 20, or an equivalent hyperbolic measurement, is not meant for literal arithmetic. Instead, it conveys that the cosmic mind's joy transcends anything comprehensible at the human level. The text typically concludes that such joy is still a fraction of the Absolute's peace, which is beyond even the idea of mental delight. Yet for the cosmic mind, delight can be expressed and felt, so it becomes the pinnacle of bliss in manifested existence. Some people discuss why the cosmic mind would need to experience happiness at all. They argue that if it is engaged in the cosmic act of subtle creation, perhaps it would be neutral. Yet the tradition insists that the cosmic mind's creativity is free from self-serving motives. Without self-serving motives, there is tremendous peace and fulfillment, and that very fulfillment manifests as bliss. From a certain viewpoint, the cosmic mind is considered the ultimate devotee, ceaselessly offering its energy to shape the destinies of billions of beings with no sense of personal gain. Because it has no private agenda, the door to sorrow is closed, and the door to universal well-being is open. In that sense, it is easy to see how a universal, enlightened mind would be saturated with joy. In daily life, these concepts might seem remote, yet some traditions teach that understanding the cosmic mind can shift how a person sees themselves. If each individual mind is a spark of that universal mental plane, then connecting inwardly can yield insights that transcend ego-based limitations. The cosmic mind becomes a friend in higher awareness, guiding individuals to see that their small concerns need not weigh them down. By remembering that consciousness is not confined to a single body-mind, one can feel a sense of shared being with the cosmic totality. This perspective can bring solace during difficulties and inspire a more selfless attitude, modeled on how the cosmic mind's activity is purely benevolent. Some people add that while the cosmic mind is described as experiencing maximum possible bliss, each individual has a hidden link to that same vastness. Through meditative practices or deep devotion, a person can catch glimpses of a happiness that seems far beyond what normal pleasures provide. That glimpse might be brief, yet it can suggest that the cosmic mind is indeed real, a grand reservoir of joy that any being can tap into by loosening the grip of personal cravings. Such experiences are said to bring freedom, as the individual realizes that small daily ups and downs are overshadowed by a deeper luminosity that pervades existence. Returning to the main question, does the cosmic mind or the supreme presence create the universe? Both viewpoints appear in various sources. The cosmic mind is the first manifestation that actively projects the grand design of subtle forms, so in that sense, it is the creator. Yet behind it stands the ultimate cause, the universal seed, without which even the cosmic mind has no sustenance. Certain texts unify the two under a broader name for the absolute, saying it is the absolute that becomes all these forms. Others prefer to differentiate them into distinct roles to clarify how creation unfolds in stages. Whichever explanation is chosen, the sense remains that a single consciousness can manifest in diverse ways, from the quiet potential of the causal realm to the vibrant outpouring of subtle and physical worlds. Regarding how the cosmic mind can harbor such vast bliss, the key concept is desirelessness in the face of complete connectivity. Freed from narrow attachments, it possesses a universal vantage. Because happiness is closely tied to unity and freedom from want, the cosmic mind's unbounded perspective allows a magnitude of joy that dwarfs ordinary human pleasures. This result is sometimes cited to encourage seekers. If even a trace of that perspective enters an individual life, worry and stress can diminish sharply. The cosmic mind stands as an exemplar of how to be engaged in creative action without personal entanglement, thus immersed in unfathomable peace. In the end, the entire framework offers a grand vision in which an individual's daily experiences mirror universal processes. One's deep sleep corresponds to the causal root, one's dream parallels the subtle realm, and one's waking is the physical domain. On a cosmic scale, the supreme presence, associated with the universal causal base, interacts with the cosmic mind, linked to all subtle bodies, which then expresses through the vast physical cosmos. The cosmic mind can be considered the highest manifested deity, sometimes identified with the name referencing the golden womb, and it experiences profound happiness because it is fully enlightened and unbound by personal craving. Yet this cosmic mind is also recognized as arising from and relying upon the deeper causal presence that, in some texts, is called the ultimate ground of all. Both collectively shape the creation, each at its own tier, resulting in a panoramic universe of countless beings, worlds, and experiences upheld by a single awareness that reveals itself differently at various levels of manifestation.